So today, for the first time in many months of the pandemic, we had our grandson over and he got to run the trains. And to get ready for that, I gave it the best cleaning that I have had. So here I'm going to video running through the layout. Slow it down a little bit because it actually runs slow now. Here's the latest section I had started, the scenic with the trees. Still needs a little ballast here. But here we are running along, probably about 20 scale miles an hour or so, 25. Coming into our area that we had first scenicked with a little freight station, freight unloading area in Seabrook, New Hampshire. And then coming through the woods, we'll have to come up a little higher. Ooh, I actually had a dead spot. I did find that there's probably 3 turnouts that still will occasionally stop at slow speeds. None of them have the frogs powered yet. They will, but I need to do a little tweaking on them so that they're working better. Here we go through the salt marsh, which I'm still continuing to try to tweak colorations on. That's the portion of the salt marsh leading up to Hampton Falls, with Seabrook in the distance, the cabins and cottages. And through the next area that's scenic, heading into Hampton Falls. Coming up on Bremer Road. Substituted a couple of different houses here temporarily till I figure out what I want permanently. Then coming up on the salt marsh in Hampton Falls itself, seeing Hampton Beach cottages in the distance. Obviously still need to finish working on the bridge and eventually do the water and various water features. But here we come around to where the station for Hampton Falls is, and more of Hampton Beach cottages in the distance. The smaller cardstock stand-in on the right is the station, and then the freight houses to the left of that. We're coming across that whole long stretch of salt marsh. Here we get kind of a good view of the, come down more to track level. It looks a little better than the high level. Definitely need to continue to work on the bridges. And the final section of Hampton Falls with the north end of the Hampton Beach cottage area behind it. And then we go over one last river, and then we're gonna come into the non-scenic section. We'll start to get into a little bit more woods here, and then after we cross Route 1, which I need to raise up as an overpass over the railroad. That was a mistake early on, that I was just having a road crossing, which wouldn't have been right. But then we'll be getting into farmland. As we come along here, we'll have some horse and cow pastures, start to get into some corn on the other side of the tracks. Here we're going to have a grain and feed as we start to come into Hampton itself. And none of this is scenic, but coming around the curve into Hampton. And then we'll have our industries over here. Haven't totally nailed down what I'll use for buildings, but figure have some stand-ins. And here comes the train coming up there. Against the backdrop here will be actually the main road, Route 1 through Hampton, so there'll be lots of buildings right up against the backdrop in the road. And we finally come around. The end of this curve is where the station will be in Hampton, but I got to stop there because that's the end of the track that's in.